Hello, good morning. How are you doing today? Good morning, online. Hope everyone are doing good. Today rains are relaxed a little bit. Okay. All right. So let's jump on. So what did we discuss in our last class? Images. Quick shootout round. Okay. What is an image? Copy of the operating system. What is this image called in EC2? AMI. What is the full form of AMI? Amazon Machine Image. Okay. AMIs are created from EC2 instance. From EC2 instance, again, you can create AMIs. Okay. AMIs are stored in S3. And so we all agree that what type of operating system AWS is providing for us in EC2? What are the two types of operating systems? Windows and then Linux. So in Linux, which is the operating system we should be using it? Red Hat. And for Windows, you can go for Windows Server 2022 or 23. And do you all agree that AWS is providing the default templates, images? So that can be with the plain OS and with the OS with some applications inside it. And if you are going and creating the AMI by yourself, what is that AMI called? Custom AMI. And if you're creating it automatically, those AMIs are called golden AMIs. So how do you get the golden AMIs? By image builder. What is that? Image builder. EC2 image builder. So from one AMI, with one AMI, can you launch multiple EC2 instances? Yes. And can we say that AMIs are reusable? Yes, AMIs are reusable. Can you copy the AMI from one region to other region? One account to another account, can you share it? Okay. Okay. We discussed only AMIs. What else? Key pairs also we discussed, right? Yeah. Key pair. So what is a key pair? Combination of the public key and then private key. What is the extension of the key pair? .pem. .pem. So PEM is a public key or private key? Private key. Who has the public key? AWS has the public key. So one key can be attached to multiple EC2 instances? Yes. One EC2 instance can have how many keys attached? Only one key. So we need to, is it highly recommended to attach the keys to the EC2 instance, correct? Yes. Can we create multiple keys? Is it possible to create multiple keys? Yes. Do we have any default key? No. So once key pair is attached, once key pair is attached to the EC2 instance, can you remove it? No, you cannot detach it or you cannot remove it. So you need to keep the key pairs very safe. Agree? Yes. So once the key pairs is lost, is it possible to retrieve your password? No. So these are other ways to do it, but let's not keep the key pairs safe. Okay. And then whenever you are retrieving the password from the same EC2 instance again and again, you will get the same password or different password? Same. So the passwords will be different for different EC2 instances or same? For different EC2 instances? Different. So what is the what is the default username for Windows? Administrator. For Linux? EC2 minus user. Okay. So what is the tool? What is the tool that we use to connect to the Windows machine? RDP, remote desktop tool. And what is the protocol? RDP. And on which port number? 3389. So to connect to the Linux machines, what is the tool we should use? PuTTY. And what is the protocol that you use? SSH. On which port number? మీరు ఫస్ట్ నుంచి ఇంతేనా లేకపోతే ఇప్పుడు వచ్చి ఇలా ఉన్నారు? ఇప్పుడేనా? Very good, guys. Okay. Okay, those who don't know Telugu, just ignore it. That was just So how do you, does the PuTTY support PEM file? No. So what does it support? PPK. How do you convert? Using PuTTY Gen. Super. Okay. And also is it recommended to share the PEM file to others? No. So, and also, is it recommended that people ask for your password all the time? No. So what is the best way to do that? Setting up Active Directory. Good. Okay. So today, cluster networking instances. No gusa, please. Hello. Okay. Cluster networking instances. So Chitty, generally, what is cluster? Generally, what is cluster? Yes. Right? What is cluster? Group of servers, generally we call it as cluster, right? But here, the group that we are talking about is called placement group. What group? So here I'll write that. So generally, what is cluster? Cluster meaning it's a group of servers. Instead of servers, can we call it EC2 instances? Yes. So can I say group of EC2 instances? Yes. And this group is called placement group. What is that, Nana? This group is called placement group. Okay, tell me one thing. We will be going and launching the EC2 instances. Correct? We will be going and launching the EC2 instances. Where do we go and launch the EC2, in which it will be sitting in the availability zones? Yes or no? Where do we launch EC2 instances? In the availability zone. So I launch 3 EC2 instances. 3 EC2 instances, I can put it in 1A also. I can put it in 1B. I can put it in 1C. Can I put all in 1A also? Yes, it's up to me. Okay. So now, when you go and launch an EC2 instance from the console, in the backend, from console, you will be selecting only 1A. You will be selecting only 1A. You will be selecting only 1A. So 1A meaning what is availability zone? What is availability zone? Data center. What is availability zone? It's a data center. Correct? So whenever you're going and launching the EC2 instance and selected 1A, let's say you launch 5 machines. 5 machines will go and sit in one host? No, no. One EC2 instance will sit in one hardware. Another EC2 instance will go and sit in another hardware. Who will take care of all these things? AWS will take care of it. So when you launch a new EC2 instance, the EC2 service will take your EC2 instance place in different hardwares, correct? Yes or no? Yes, it will place in different hardwares. So now, let's say we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 host machines are there. How many? 5 host machines are there. So you went and launched 10 EC2 instances. You went and launched 10 EC2 instances. All these 10 EC2 instances will sit in one host? No. It will be spreaded across into multiple different hosts. So guys, what if I keep the EC2 instances in the same rack, same availability zone, next to next? What about the performance? Performance will be high or low? If you keep the EC2 instances next to next, guys, you guys are next to next, no? So we can talk easily. If I keep you one person here in one room, another person in another room, how are the performance? Low, correct? But you can communicate, but the performance is low. So there might be some requirement in your real time that 2 EC2 instances should talk to each other super fast. I'm not talking from customer point of view. I'm talking between the EC2 instances. Let's say we have application server, we have database server. And the speed between these two things should be super fast. So if you want to have that kind of scenario, can we group the EC2 instances? Can we group it? Group where? In the same availability zone, in same rack. Can we group it? I go and launch 10 EC2 instances. In 5 EC2 instances, can I group it? That group is called placement group. That group is called placement group. So I can group it in the same availability zone. Also, I can group it in different availability zones. Now tell me, if you're grouping in the same availability zone, performance will be very high. Can you also group across the availability zones? You can group it. But do you have that much performance? You're getting it. So that groups, we call it as placement group. So there are 3 types of placement groups. How many? Cluster placement group. Tell me. Placement group. And then spread placement group. Partition placement group. There are 3 placement group. What are cluster, spread, partition? Got it? Cluster meaning grouping in the same availability zone. We are sitting in the same room, no? How is the performance? It's very high, right? I can listen you, you can listen me, you can talk to each other, we can do whatever we want. So if I spread you guys into multiple different rooms, I'm sitting somewhere and then I'm teaching. How is the performance? Performance will be a little bit low, right? But the problem here is we are sitting in the same room. What happened if something happened to this room? All are pasak. All are gone, right? So that meaning, do we have a super high availability in this case? No. So cluster placement group meaning if you will get super high performance, but low little bit high availability is little bit in risk. But if you want high performance, go with the cluster placement group. Let's say, no, you want a super high availability. Which placement group will you select? Spread. Spread meaning you are spreaded across multiple availability zones. So now 10 people I put it in one room, 20 people I put it in another room. If something happened to one room also, other room people will be safe. But performance not low, compared to it will be like that. But you will have super high availability. Now I will give a question. I have a critical application which should never go down. Which one will you select? Cluster or spread? Simple. That is certification question. You want to have a high availability. Which one will select? High availability. Spread. Right? And if you want to have high performance, cluster. Got it? Okay. You're grouping it. When you're launching the EC2 instances, you create a placement group called give some name. High placement group or cluster placement group. And then when launching the EC2 instances, how many EC2 instances that you're launching, select that placement group. AWS will group all the EC2 instances in one place. If you want to have a good performance. Okay. Spread placement group is spreading across multiple availability zones, correct? But the problem there is in one availability zone, you can have only 7 EC2 instances. How many? 7. Right? In one group, how many EC2 instances you can have in spread placement group? 7. So how many total EC2 instances you can create in Mumbai region? 21. Because how many availability zones are there? 3. 7 threes are 21. But in real time, sir, if I need to have more, go over the partition placement group. Partition meaning how many partitions you can create? 7 partitions. How many? 1, 2, 3, like this, 7 partitions, 7 different rooms, 7 different hardwares. In one partition, can you have so hundreds of EC2 instances you can have? But something goes wrong with this partition, all your EC2 instances are gone. But can you just launch your EC2 instance in different partitions if required? Got it? So if you want to group, if you want to get a good performance, then go with the cluster placement group. I'm telling this is within the EC2 instances, within the AWS, not from the customer point of view. Okay. So let me go ahead and write. So these are the EC2 instances. Let's say I took 4 EC2 instances. I take 4 EC2 instances. These 4 EC2 instances, obviously it is in AWS. And all these are all in which are how many, which availability is on 1A, 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 and 1A. All these can talk to each other. They are sitting in the same availability zone, same rack. Guys, generally, how much is your internet speed in your home? Okay, some people have 50, some people have 100, maximum 150. They'll say 200, but you'll get 150. Well, you'll not get 150 also, they'll get 100. So the speed between these two EC2 instances in the placement group, you know how much? We are talking about Mbps here in our home. Here, the speed between is 20 Gbps. How much speed? 20 Gbps. Just imagine how much super speed you have between the EC2 instances. Guys, now you don't have that much experience to analyze that. So just imagine you have some big data, big processing, big applications where you have mainframes, very big things where they want to communicate with each other super fastly. So in order to use that, then you go for the placement groups. Okay, na? Nice. So first I'll write the problem here. Okay. So when you launch a new EC2 instance, the EC2 same rack. Don't you know rack? Rack. What is rack? Shelf, right? Same rack means same shelf. The EC2 instance, the EC2 service will place the instance such a way that all your instances are spread out across different hardware. So we have 3 types of placement group, which is first one is cluster placement group. Next one is spread placement group. And then here partition placement group. In the rack, Murali, in terms of AWS, rack meaning also shelf. In the backend, you have data centers, no? What does the data centers have? All your servers will be placed in the racks only, no? In the shelves. Yeah. So cluster placement group. So can I say that here, grouping the instances in same, okay, single availability zone or same rack. This is called cluster placement group. Do you get high performance and low H? So this one, EC2 instances are spread across availability zone. Do you get a high availability? So critical applications, you can put it here. Yes. Coming to the partition placement group. And by the way, in spread placement group, how many per availability zone, how many EC2 instances you can have? 7 instances. So in partition tree, this is also across availability zones. Maximum partition. Maximum partitions you can have 7. So one partition can contain how many EC2 instances? Hundreds of EC2 instances. Like partition meaning like this, you can have 7. 1, 2, 3. Okay. So in the partition, can you have the EC2 instances? Like this, you can have how many EC2 instances you can have like this? Seven is the limit. But how many EC2 instances you can have in each partition? Hundreds of, so many you can have like this. But maximum partitions 7. Okay. So guys, now you're grouping the EC2 instances, correct? You're grouping the EC2 instances. Now tell me, certification question, guys, see here. If you're grouping the EC2 instances, would you group same type of EC2 instances or different types of EC2 instances? The group, same or different? Again, mixed feelings. Huh? Some people are saying same, some people are saying different. Let me give an example. In your college days, I think now you're in college days, but I'm not encouraging you. I'm saying in our college days. Okay. Okay. So in our college days, generally you see in the movies also. Let's say someone has said something to your friend. You will go as a gang and group to go and talk to him. Correct? Yes or no? Will you go with a group or will you go alone? Group, na? Okay. So if you're going with a group, you'll have a good performance or bad performance. Group meaning good performance. Okay. In that group that you are going, will you have same kind of people? I mean, will you go one LKG guy, one 10th class guy? Or will you go different people like that? Will you go with your own friends with all bodybuilders? Same, no? Then before that you said different. In group, you have people same group or different? If you have same type of people, same height, same body, so that meaning you will have a good performance. If we have different people, one very thin, one is very shy, one is very abba push type. So, right? So if you have this kind of people, do you get a good performance? No, you'll not get good performance, right? So that meaning the group should have the same instance type or different instance types. That is a certification question here. So placement group recommend to have same, or in certification language, you call it as homogeneous instance type. homogeneous instance type. So when you are launching the EC2 instance, you can select which placement group you want to keep the EC2 instance. So while launching the EC2 instance, it will ask, Babu, do you have any group? So do you have any group? So before itself, we need to create a group. Which type of groups you can create? Either you can create a cluster, either you can create a spread, either you can create partition. So while launching the EC2 instance, it will ask, Babu, you want to group this EC2 instance to some group? If you want, select the group. Otherwise, no need. Guys, is this clear? Till here, everyone? Last point. When you're launching the EC2 instance, you can select which placement group you want to keep the EC2 instance. So that meaning, first of all, you need to create a group. Which type of group? Either you can create cluster, spread, or partition. Create a group ready. And what does the group contains? EC2 instance only, no? So when you're launching the EC2 instance, it will ask, Babu, to in which group you want to keep the EC2 instance. You might have created a cluster placement group, no? When launching the EC2, select cluster placement group. So if you're launching 5, 10, how many servers I want to group, you can group it in the same group. Changing the group is not possible. I think changing the group, I think you cannot move from one group to another group. No. Previously, when we're doing it was no, but I'm not sure whether now they have changed that feature or not. Is in certain cluster, is there any limit? There are limits, no. Per availability zone 7 instance. Do you have any limit in cluster placement group? No. Do you have any other default group other than this 3? No. Why? Only 3. 3 are there. Is it clear till here, everyone? Okay. Now, everyone, I want to concentrate. Very important topic. Online people, again, I'm saying, I know climate is very nice. Don't sleep and listen. Sit properly, get up properly, close the door, keep your phone aside. Tell your papa not to disturb. Okay. So, today, now we'll talk a very important topic, which is called security groups. What is that, Nana? I want you to concentrate. Of course, you concentrate, but security group. So remember, in our starting days, we discussed about firewall. Remember, what is firewall? Which stops unauthorized access to the network. Correct? That is a firewall. So remember, in our starting days, we learned HTTP, HTTPS. So any traffic is coming, firewall will allow or deny. Correct? Whether so based on the rule that we create in the firewall, it will allow or it will deny. Similarly, in EC2 service, like firewall, we have something called security group. So what is the security group we use? Security group is used to secure the EC2 instance. So guys, if you want to talk to the EC2 instance, first you need to talk to security group. So if EC2 is like Bahubali, security group is like Kattappa. What did you say? Kattappa only, right? So if you compromise with Kattappa, like what it happened in Bahubali 1, Bahubali got killed. So here also, if you compromise on the security group, EC2 instance will be hacked. So how much good or how much perfect you have set up the security group, that much secure your EC2 instance will be. Getting it? So if someone asks what is security group, so you can simply say that it acts like a firewall to secure the EC2 instance. Okay, so let me write first and then we'll slowly go into the topic. So first one, firewall. What is firewall? Which stops unauthorized access to the network. So this firewall in EC2, we call it as security group. So Nana, what does the security group will do? Allow or deny? Agree? Yes, it will allow or it will deny. It allow or it will deny. And then, so now I'll form the definition of security group simply. Security group, SG in shortcut. Security group stops unauthorized access to the EC2 instance. Security group is used to secure the EC2 instance. Security group acts like firewall to secure the EC2 instance. Okay. You're getting it, guys, everyone? So meanwhile, when you're writing this, I'll draw one hypnotism diagram for you. Do you remember this? What is on the outer layer? AWS. Inside this region, inside this VPC. Inside availability zone, you have EC2 instances. We know all these things. Inside the VPC, you have a concept called NACL that we'll talk. Then it has security group. Then it will go and hit the EC2 instance. So guys, in order to talk to the EC2 instance, you need to go with all these things. You need to go with all these things. So in order to talk to the EC2 instance, you need to cross all these things. See how secure our EC2 instance is. Correct? So can someone go and simply just like that can hack it? No. So we will learn today how securely we can secure our EC2 instance. Okay. Now, Chetty, in security group, we have two types of rules. How many types of rules? Two types of rules. One is called inbound rule and outbound rule. What is one? Again, which one? Inbound rule, outbound rule. Inbound rule, outbound rule. So what is inbound rule? Inbound meaning with the traffic which is coming towards the EC2 instance. Outbound meaning which is going outside the EC2 instance. Right? So now, remember, this point is very important. Catch it, certification question also. So by default, inbound rules, do we have any inbound? Basically, what do we do in inbound rules? We are allowing the traffic. Traffic is nothing but protocols only, no? Yes or no? Whether you want to allow HTTP, whether you want to allow HTTPS or FTP, NF, whichever the protocols, SSH, RDP, whichever the protocols that you want to allow, you allow it. And question here is, by default, any protocols is allowed inside the inbound rule? No. So by default, inbound rules are allowed or deny? Super. By default, inbound rules are? By default, inbound rules are deny. Inbound rules by default are deny. Outbound rules are allowed. Outbound rules are allowed. Example, when you're going to any shopping mall. So what the security guy will be there, no? Who is scanning you? He will do massage for you. Dig, right? So he will check. He'll check. So while coming in, he'll check. While going out, will he check? Because he already checked you. Whether we have any kind of whatever it is. right? He will check inside. So while checking, he'll come inside, and then while going, will he check? He will not check. That's why inbound rules are deny, outbound rules are allowed. So because whatever you have checked it already, that is coming in, and it is secure. Okay, now by default, inbound rules are deny, outbound rules are allowed. So just imagine inbound rule is like a big wall, which is plastered. If the wall is plastered here, anything is allowed, everything is deny. Can I go that side? Can I go that side? No, everything is plastered, everything is deny. But if you want to send any protocol, put a hole and send it inside. Okay, so that is in inbound rules, you can allow the protocols. Okay, now question is, in inbound rule, is it possible to deny the protocol? No, because it's already denied. It's already denied. Everything is denied. What you need to do, you can only allow. You can only allow. What are the things that you are allowing? Protocols you are allowing. So by default, everything is denied, no? Okay, now I'll put it in a realistic thing here. So let's say I have the EC2 instance. Chitty, this is a EC2 instance. Okay, this is a EC2 instance. Carefully, you need to answer it. And I have application inside it. This EC2 instance is secured by? The EC2 instance is secured by? Security group. EC2 instance is secured by? Security group. Okay. Now, we have inbound rule and outbound rule, no? For this security group, inbound rule is there, outbound rule is there. What is inbound rule? Which is going inside. Outbound rule meaning which is right. So now, by default, inbound rules are allowed or deny? Deny. Anything is allowed there? No, everything is deny. Now, I want to, this is a Windows machine. Which machine? Windows machine. I want to log into this Windows machine. What is the protocol that I need to allow? Which one? RDP. Which one? RDP. So what I need to do in inbound rule, I can go and add a rule. Which rule I need to add? RDP rule I need to add. So here allow RDP on which port number? 3389. So this is one rule I have created. In inbound rule, I have created one rule. So now this is inbound rules. Inbound rule. Now I have application inside the EC2 instance. What is the protocol is used to access my application? HTTP, correct? So what I need to allow that HTTP? Yes, allow HTTP on what port number? 80. Okay, now SSH is allowed here based on this. SSH is deny. So I have allowed only these two protocols. Rest everything are deny. Rest everything or rest are all deny. Getting it? Getting it? Is it possible to specifically deny in the security group? No, because it's already denied. It's already plastered. It's already denied. What you can do, you can only allow. There might be an interview question or certification question. Hey, is it possible to deny SSH protocol and security group? What do you say? Answer is no. You need to say in security group, you cannot deny, you can only allow. So if he asks, okay, now I don't want to have SSH, what do you do? Delete the rule. You have a SSH allowed, no? So if you want to deny, what you need to do? Delete the rule. I have allowed HTTP, that is one rule. I have allowed SSH, that is another rule. I have allowed HTTP, another rule. So if I want to deny SSH, what do you need to do? Delete the rule. Delete the rule. You got this, ma? Okay, is it clear till here? Nice. So security groups have two types of rules. I'll write this. Security group has two rules. Inbound rule and outbound rule. Inbound rule, outbound rule. So what is inbound rule? Can I say which allows the traffic towards EC2 instance. And how about this one? Which allows the traffic outside EC2 instance. Inbound rule and outbound rule. Online, is it clear for you? Everyone sees it till here? Everyone? Okay, answer me. So what is a security group? Which stop unauthorized access to the EC2 instance. Okay. How many types of security groups are there? I mean, how many types of rules are there? Two types of rule. What are those? Inbound rule and then outbound rule. What is inbound rule? Which allows the traffic towards the EC2 instance. Outbound rule? Outside the EC2. So by default, inbound rules are allowed or deny. By default, inbound rules are deny. Outbound rules are allowed. So whenever you create a brand new or new security group, inbound rules are allowed. No, everything inbound rules are completely deny. Whichever is required for you, you can go and allow it. Whatever you have allowed, that will be allowed. Rest everything will be denied. Okay, ma? Understood, Akhil? Okay, so here I'll write. So by default, inbound rules are deny. Outbound rules are allowed. Is it possible to deny protocol in a security group? What is your answer? Is it possible to deny protocol in security group? Is it possible to deny protocol in security group? Answer is no, because by default inbound rules are denied. In security group, you can only allow protocols, not deny. So every EC2 instance should have at least one security group attached. Is it possible to have EC2 instance without security group? No way, right? You cannot have Bahubali alone. What happened if Bahubali was alone? He was killed, right? So every EC2 instance must have at least one security group attached. Is it clear till here, everyone? Okay, super. So now, AWS has a habit. He has a habit to give you something default. Remember VPC? What is VPC? Virtual Private Cloud. So do you remember VPC is regional or global? Regional. So do you remember we have a default VPC? Instead of you going creating a VPC by yourself, which is difficult, AWS is providing you a default VPC so that it can easy for you to go and use it. Similarly, here also in security group, AWS is giving you a default security group. Which one? Default security group. So AWS is providing a default security group. So should we go and use that default security group? Answer is yes. Can you create your own new security groups? Yes, you can create it. But I recommend in our course, to use default security groups only for now until you are familiar with it. Until you are familiar with it, you have to use which security group? Default security group. So once you are familiar, can you create your own security groups? Answer is yes. I'll tell you the reason also now. So write down AWS EC2 has a default security group. Guys, can you create multiple security groups and attach it? Okay. So one EC2 instance can have multiple security groups? Answer is yes. Yes, you can have. One EC2 instance can have multiple security group. And tell me, one security group can be attached to multiple EC2 instances? Yes. And one EC2 instance can have multiple security groups? Yes. It's up to you. Security groups are like checkboxes. However you want to use, you can use it. So I'll write that. You can create multiple security groups and you can attach multiple security groups to the single EC2 instance. Yes, there will be a soft limit, Daya. Guys, I created a brand new security group, guys. A brand new security group. All inbound rules are deny. Outbound rules are yes. Allow. Okay. And I write this for you also. Those who have confusion, RDP is used for what, Nana? RDP is used to connect, is used to log in or connect to the Windows EC2 instance. And then SSH. SSH is used to connect to the Linux EC2 instance. And HTTP and HTTPS. HTTP and HTTPS is used to access the applications. So you should never forget this. This is a very basic here. If you take this EC2 instance, this is EC2. So EC2 instance is secured by the security group. Okay. How many types of rules are there? 2 types, right? So one inbound rules, inbound, and then outbound. So by default, inbound rules are deny. Everything is deny, right? Outbound rules are allowed. So if required, can you go and add a rule in inbound? Yes, you can go and add a rule. SSH rule. This is how it works. Okay, Nana? Got it? Representative. Any questions still here? Okay, as I said, we should be using default security groups or new security groups. Default security group. Which one here? Which one? Guys, we should be using which group? Default security group or new security groups? Default security. I'll tell you the reason. See, you can ask, sir, why can't we create a new security groups? You can create it, no issues. But see here, I have launched EC2 instances. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Did you see how many EC2 instances are there? 4 EC2 instances are there. Tell me, for this 4 EC2 instance, how many security groups will you create? Some people will say 4, some people will say 1, some people will say 2, depends. Okay, I'll tell you the reason. See, very important, real time. So I told you, okay, first thing is you have 4 EC2 instances. That meaning, will you create 4 security groups? That is not good. That's not the best practice. If you have 100 EC2 instances, how many security groups will have? 100 security groups is very hard to manage. You should not do like that. But can you create it? Yes, if required. Every EC2 instance can have its own security group. But is it recommended to do that? No. No. Let's say, as you said, sir, I want to go and create a new security group. You created a security group like this. And the problem here is, let's say you want to log into this second EC2 instance, which is Linux wala. So in which security group that you need to enable the inbound rules? First is EC2 instance, second one, third one, which one? Where need to go and add the inbound rule? Guys, I want to log into the second EC2 instance. In which security group we will go and enable the rule? In the second one only, no? You should know, because in console, you see all the security group listed. You will easily get confused which security group is attached to which EC2 instance. So you want to connect to the second one, and you will be going and enabling on the first one. And you will come and saying that, sir, I'm not able to connect to Windows machine, Linux machine. But when I go and see here, you might have created a security group. You have to enable the rule in the second security group. You might be doing it in the first security group. So that's why I said, until you're familiar with this, please go ahead and use default security group. For all the EC2 instances, we will be using which one? Default security group. So there will be only one security group. We'll be doing inbound rules, everything in our default security group. For practice purpose, we go in for the default security. But when we go a little bit more advanced in coming days, we will go and create our own security groups also. But until you reach there, use default security group. Will you create a new security groups? Don't create it. Now you all understood why? Because you will get confused like this. And should I tell you how does it look like in real time? In real time, how should it look like? How the security groups will look like? See here. What is this? We know this, right? What is this? A load balancer. And load balancer has EC2 instances. These are all EC2 instances. Can it have database also in the backend? I'll have database. Okay. Listen this carefully. This is real time. This is ELB. These are all your, where do you have application? Here only, no? So the EC2, EC2, and you have application here. Application. These are all DB, and then DB. Okay, now you have like this. Okay, by the way, you need to, load balancer is sending the traffic to the EC2 instances. And now, how do you secure this environment? How do you secure this environment? Using security groups only, no? Okay, now tell me, guys, tell me. In real time, I'm saying in real time, in your company, in your real time, will you go ahead and then have one security group for all? Okay, right? Oh, you are thinking as an architect. Very good. That is not good. Okay. So what is recommended? Can you create a separate security group for load balancer? Yes. Can you create a separate security group for application? Can you create a separate security group for database? This is how you need to create in real time. Okay. Now see. Can I call this ELB security group? ELBSG? ELBSG. This one? AppSG. This one? DBSG. These are the names of the security group. Now tell me. Load balancer should be listening on which protocol? Load balancer should be listening on which protocol? Which protocol? Load balancer. You want to access the application? No. Allow you are accessing application is nothing but which one? HTTP only. No. What is that? HTTP only. So load balancer will be listening on the HTTP or HTTPS. Yes or no? HTTP. Or if you want to go with the secure, you will go with the HTTP. Yes. Okay. So here, a load balancer will be listening on HTTP, HTTP. That is good. From where? From where? Right? Question, no. I have the load. I am the load balancer. I have these EC2 instances. I'll be listening to the internet. Who is accessing the application? Someone is accessing boom.com. That will come to me, no? How they accessing boom.com? http://boom.com. That will come and hit me. But who is the guy who will be accessing it? So now here, from where I should get the traffic? So that is called source. That is called source. Which source? There are three types of sources, Nana. One is custom. One is anywhere. My IP. What are those? Say this. Custom, anywhere, my IP. Which one? Custom, anywhere, my IP. One more time. Custom, anywhere, my IP. Online guys. Custom, anywhere, my IP. There are three types of sources. How many? Three types. Custom meaning only some set of, only particular network, only from set of people, only from something you are enabling the traffic. Anywhere meaning anyone. It is for the internet publicly. Anyone can go and access your website. My IP meaning only you, only from you, only from your laptop, only from your machine, you are accessing the load balancer. Now you tell me, in our course, which is the source that we should be using it? My IP. If you go for anywhere, open to anywhere. It is not good. So which one you should be using it? My IP. But if you want to use for set of people or some network, go for custom. In our course, which one we should be using it? My IP. And if you want to, now you have in your real time, you have set up the load balancer. And load balance is nothing but your website only, your application, boom.com. And this boom.com should be accessed by only set of people, only you, for everyone. Everyone. So in your real time, which one you will use? Anywhere you will use. As in your course, you are the only one, it is your account. That's why you should be using it. My IP. Understood? Three types of sources. Excellent. Okay, now very important. See, you have load balancer security group. Can someone directly go and hit this? No way. Now you tell me, app SG source, I need to use custom. Now you tell me, app SG should get the request from whom? Application security group should get the traffic from whom? Load balancer. The source should be what? ELBSG. Correct? Correct? Here also source should be custom. The source for this database, from where it should get? AppSG. Now you tell me, this application security group is getting the traffic only from the load balancer. Can anyone from here can go and log in? That is how you need to secure your environment. That is how I also do. That is how everyone will do. Do you see how security group you can manage and secure it? Understood? Super. Let's come back to our, so we have topics still. So, okay. So the question is, one security group can have multiple security, one EC2 instance can have multiple security groups attached? Yes, possible. Can it have its own security group? Yes, it has its own security group. Also like this. This is EC2, right? And it has its own security group like this. And can we have a single security group for all also? Possible. So here, one EC2 instance can have many security groups attached. Okay, and one security group can be attached to many EC2s. So sources, how many types of sources are there? 3 types. What are those? Custom, anywhere, MyApply. Everyone understood the difference between all those? Okay, Nana. See here. If you allow any inbound rule, do you need to allow that in outbound rule? No need. Super. If you allow any inbound rule, you no need to allow that on outbound rule. So guys, this is called stateful. What is this called? Stateful. So our security groups are stateful. Certification question. Security groups are stateful. Certification. So guys, in security group, if you allow any inbound rule, do you need to allow that on outbound rule? No, that is called stateful. That is called what? Stateful. And you might ask, which one is stateless? So guys, see here. If you allow any inbound rule, you must, guys, you must allow that on outbound rule. This is called stateless. And which one is stateless here? I'll tell you. Guys, NACLs are stateless. Which one? NACLs are stateless. Perfect certification question. Which one are stateful? Security group. Which one are stateless? NACL. Definitely you will get confused in your certification. Which one are stateful and stateless? I'll give you one hint. Where you will not forget at all. Security groups are security guys. You know security people. They're always, full, charged up, secure, right? Always full, no? You see so many people outside, watchmen, they're always will be very energetic. And then our, you take security, our army is very energetic and they're full of strength. So think, remember like the security groups are full. That meaning stateful or stateless? Stateful. Security groups are stateful. Security full. Security full. Security groups are stateful. And rest NACL are stateless. So now I need to definitely talk about NACL, which is very important. Let's talk about NaCl. So guys, what is NaCl? Sodium chloride. Chemistry, huh? Okay. So NaCl is generally in chemistry sodium chloride. But are we learning chemistry here? You know already a lot of chemistries. Physics, no, I said, no, sir. I'm pity on you. Okay. So I pray God you'll get sooner. Okay. So NaCl's meaning network access control list. Which one? Network access control list. So let's talk about NaCl, guys. Very important. Very important. NaCl, network access control list. Guys, do you all understood about security group? Everyone, right? By default, inbound rules are deny. Outbound rules are allowed. Is it possible to deny in security group? Yes sir, no. Yes sir. You come though. I'll put my hands in pocket and leave. So guys, answer is no. So because in security group, everything is denied, no, by default. So in security group, we cannot specifically deny it. We can only allow it. We cannot deny because everything is by default denied. Okay, now guys, NaCls are also same like security group only. but it is another layer of security on the EC2 instance. First layer is security group, and next layer is NACL. I'm telling you, no one will talk about NACL. No one will talk about NACL. Most of the people, they talk with only security group. They don't talk about NACL. Let us discuss what is NACL, because it is another layer of security on the EC2. Many people think that, okay, I lock my door, that is fine. But you have another door also, right? In triple R, there are two doors, no, in that quota, right? So first door, if someone hit it, second door, no one can do it, right? So similarly here also, you have two layers of security. First layer is security group, second layer is, but from outside, from customer, the first layer will be NACL, second layer will be security group. Who will hit first? NACL, then security group. So can we restrict it on the NACL level also? Yes. Let's see. So here, can I say that is another layer of security? It is another layer of security to the EC2 instance. So guys, if you want to tie the security, go with NACL. Similarly, guys, like security group, NACL also has inbound and outbound rules. Similarly, here also you have inbound and outbound rules. Which one will hit first? Fantastic. NACL will hit first, and then security group. Okay. Okay. I want your attention. Okay, see, Nana. Your kind attention, please. Okay. So, guys, everything, whatever we do in AWS should be inside the VPC or outside the VPC? Inside the VPC. So that meaning I need to have the VPC first, correct? Yes, this is the VPC. Chiti, when you launch the EC2 instance, who will assign the IP address? In key pair we learn, who will provide the IP address? AWS. Don't go there, right? Who will provide the IP address to the EC2 instance? AWS. Chiti, how does it provide? You know the IP address. Can you tell me one simple IP address, sample IP address? 192.168. There will be 192.168 also. There will be 10.series also. There will be 172 series also. There are so many series available. Okay. But how does the AWS knows which type of the IP address he need to assign to the EC2 instance? Because while setting up the VPC, you will give the network range. While setting up the VPC, you will give the network range 192.168.0.0.16. What is 0.0.16? Don't worry. When we go to VPC section, there we'll learn. So this is just a range. What range? Network range. What range? Network range. Or AWS might give like this 172 series also, 172.31.0.0.16. This one /16, we call it a subnet mask. We go later. Let's not confuse it here. Okay. So now, guys, you have listen this. I'll be taking few minutes extra also today. Okay. Few minutes only. See, VPC is a big range. Just imagine a big house. VPC is like a big house. Inside your house, what you have? Partitions. Bedroom, living room, partition. Yes or no? You have a separate partition, isolated network, isolated partition. You call it as bedroom, you call it as another bedroom, you call it as living room, you call it as kitchen. Correct? So your home is like consider home is like a VPC. Inside that, you can create your own isolated network. In your home, it is called as bedrooms. Here we call it as subnets. What we call? Subnets. So can we say subnet is an isolated network in the range? Yes. So Now, if I ask you how many bedrooms you can have in your home, depend upon your size, area. If you have a 1600 square feet, triple bedroom. Can you have 4 also? Can you have 5 also? 6 also? Up to you how much big you have the size, that meaning the area, that much bedrooms you can create. Similarly here also, how much big your VPC range is, those many subnets you can create. Correct? So now here, as I don't have space, can I create only 2 subnets? I'll create only 2 subnets. So I call this as subnet 1, this subnet, wow. Subnet 2. Okay, subnet 1 and subnet 2. Chitty. And the subnet array, I'll put it here, 192.168. Here in VPC 00 is there, no? Instead of 00, we'll put 1.0. Here we put 192.168, 2.0. Like this, 3.0, 4.0, 5.0, 6.0, 7, 8, 9, 10, 255, 254.0. We can get so many subnets like this. As we don't have space, I'll go with only 2 subnets. Can I go with the 3 also? Yes. Okay, I don't have space, but I'll just for your satisfaction, I'll put 3. Here, this will be 192.168, 3.0. No. Okay. Here, each subnet is associated to one availability zone. What? Each subnet is associated to one availability zone. See? Question, certification question. One subnet is associated to one availability zone. Yes or no? One subnet is associated to one availability zone. One subnet can be associated to multiple availability zone at the same time? Answer is no. Answer is no. So first one, I'll write it here. One subnet is associated to one availability zone. And one subnet cannot be associated to multiple availability zones at the same time. Very nice. Very nice. Okay. City. See here. Subnet 1 is in which availability zone? Subnet 2, subnet 3. If I go with subnet 4, you're in the talent. Who is huh? In Mumbai, how many availability zones are there? Where do you get from Monday? From Attagaru? Huh? Is it possible to have 1D? 1D who manage availability zones? AWS. So it is not possible for us to have 1D. So your on a subnet 3, subnet 4 will be in which availability zone? 1A. Subnet 5? Subnet 6? So one availability zone can have multiple subnets? Certification question. You are answering it, yeah? Very good. So one subnet, one availability zone can have multiple subnets. Super. Guys, I might take 5 to 10 minutes extra. That's fine, no? Because we are in the middle. I cannot leave. Please don't leave the class. Okay, so very important. See, now, Chitty here, you should listen this. Where should I go and launch the EC2 instance? In the subnet only, no? Subnet is associated to one availability zone. Where do we go and launch the EC2 instance? In availability zone. Availability zone is associated to one subnet. So I'll go and set up EC2 instance here. Yes or no? So I can go and launch an EC2 instance here. So I'll go and launch EC2 instance in the subnets. Okay. Chitty, now, simple, very important. See. No. I want you to answer this. Some nasty fellow started hacking your environment. Somehow he started hacking it. And you got to know he is hacking through SSH. Which protocol? He's hacking through SSH. And he's hacking the EC2 instance. Can you tell me how do you go and stop it? Are you able to see any answer on my face? If you want to stop SSH access, what will you do? Yes, in inbound rule, SSH should be denied or deleted. Is it possible to deny? No. We need to, SSH rule should be deleted. In where? In security group. But guys, how many? You might have hundreds of EC2 instances will be there, and so many dozens of security groups will be there. Is it possible for you to go and which security group go and keep on removing the SSH? Right? By the time you're going and removing the SSH from each and every security group, he'll do his work and go also. It will by evening, night hoga. So how do you deal with this? So guys, there we get NACL. What is that? NACL. So the very nice thing about NACL is, in NACL we have inbound rules and outbound rules. Yes. In NACL we can go and deny it. In security group, can we deny? No. In NACL we can deny it. In NACL we can deny. So in NACL we have inbound rules, outbound rules. We can allow also, we can also deny. And very good thing is, NACL is not EC2 instance level. NACL is the whole subnet level. NACL is assigned on the subnet level. See, this is on the subnet level. So now, can I go ahead and then in this NACL, can I go and do SSH deny? Whichever is there in one subnet, how many EC2 instances will be there? So many will be there. So you can go and just put a deny inbound rule in the NACL levels, and he cannot access it anymore. You got this? City, real time. You should have a courage and guts to take that real time knowledge. Okay, so SSH you can go and deny on the subnet level. These security groups are which level? EC2 instance level. NACLs are subnet level. So your home is your VPC, no? Your home is your VPC. And in your home you have, let's say, 10 bedrooms are there. How many? 10 bedrooms. And thief came inside. And you want to secure your bedrooms. Right? Will you go to each and every bedroom and put the lock? Or main door you can go and put the lock? So NACLs is like a main door. Right? And the individual locks are security groups. Got it, na? Super. Excellent. And here also, one subnet is associated to one NACL. Agree? One whole subnet is associated to one NACL. Tell me, one subnet, guys, one subnet can be in multiple NACLs at the same time? One subnet can be in multiple NACLs at the same time? Answer is no. It will get confused, no? Right? One subnet should not be should not be associated to multiple NACLs. Okay. Guys, one NACL can have multiple subnets. One NACL have one big, one NACL can have multiple subnets. Answer is no. Guys, you have the main door. Main door have multiple bedrooms inside it. One NACL can have multiple subnets associated. So let's say security groups is EC2 instance level, correct? And NACL is excellent. NACL is subnet level. So, guys, generally, as I said before, no one will talk about NACLs. No one will talk about NACLs because do we have a default security group? Do we have a default security group? Yes. Similarly, we have a default NACL is also there. But the problem here is why people will don't talk is in the default NACL, inbound rule and outbound rules are allowed. That's why no one cares about NACLs. If that a default NACL is blocking it, they will talk about NACL first. So by default, we have NACL. Default NACL inbound rule, outbound rules are allowed. Okay. Now, Pusuk, you created a new brand new NACL. In that inbound rule, outbounds are allowed? No, it will be denied. New NACLs, it will be denied. But default NACLs, it is allowed. That's why people are not talking about NACL. So if the main door got locked, they'll talk about main door. But main door is open. That's why they're going out and individual bedrooms, they're talking about the key security groups. Got it? Super. So these NACLs are mandatory or optional? Optional. NACLs are optional. So bear with me for a few more minutes, please. Sugar patients left. So here we have EC2, guys, and this is a Linux. So EC2 instance is secured by security group. Guys, in security group, I have SSH, I have allowed it. See, SSH, I have allowed it. And on top of it, we have what? NACLs. On top of it, we have NACL. On NACL level, SSH denied it. Can you tell me, will you able to log into the EC2 instance? Answer is no. Answer is no. Okay. Is it clear? What is NACLs? Should I write the differences between security groups and NACLs now? Okay. Like we do in our childhood, in our notes, we see the differences. Now putting line. Let's do that. So this is security group and this is NACL. So you are reminding our childhood days, huh? Okay, tell me. In security group, we have inbound rules and outbound rules. Inbound rules and outbound rules. In NACLs also we have inbound rules, outbound rules. Yes. Do we have a default security group? Do we have default NACL? Which one will hit first? NACL. Security group will hit after NACL. And here NACL will hit first. NACL will hit first and then security group. By default, inbound rules are in security group. By default, inbound rules are denied. Outbound rules allow. So here also we have default. No, you tell me by default inbound rules are here. Excellent, excellent. By default inbound and outbound rules are allowed. Is it possible to deny on security group? So you cannot deny on security group. Can you deny on NACL? Yes, on NACL you can deny and allow also. Security groups are which level? Instance level. NACLs are subnet level. If you create any new security group, inbound rules are inbound rules are deny and outbound rules are and outbound rules are allowed. So if you create any new NACL, all inbound rules and outbound rules are new NACL. And outbound rules are denied. So security groups are stateful, stateless. Security groups are stateful. NACL. So that meaning if you allow any inbound rules, you no need to allow that on outbound rules. That is stateful. But here, if you allow any inbound rules, you must allow that on outbound rule. That is called stateless. Super. You got it now? Clear? Any questions? Everyone understood? Difficult topic in easiest way. Any questions? Yeah. Don't worry on the subnets. Subnets we'll talk in VPC. Subnet is nothing but it's an isolated network in the big range. Srikanth. So you have one big network range. Inside that you can create your own subnet. You can own isolated networks, small isolated networks. That's why you call it a subnet. In network, we are creating subnet. Then you're still writing. Yeah. Offline people are writing this. You take the screenshot of this paint first. I'll go back. There is a limit in hundreds. There is a soft limit for security group. There is some limit, but generally we don't need to worry on that. But you can create plenty. Not 20, plenty, so many. No need. We cannot deny anything because it's already allowed. In security group, there is no concept of deny. You cannot deny it at all. Deny meaning don't allow it. Simple. Okay, take the screenshot of the first one. Let me know once done. Screenshot. Done. Okay. Second one. Okay. Third one. There is a question. How many questions will ask in exam for from security group? How do I know? Huh? But definitely they'll ask. How many questions will get? Correct. I understand. But in certification, at the end of the course, I'll talk about there is categories. High availability architecture is one category. Security is one category. And then there are multiple categories like this. So based on the categories, they'll ask, not about based on the feature or based on the service, they don't ask. Okay, good. Can I get the final CC for today online? CC with smile. So, okay, great. So that is all, guys, for today. And I'll see you on Monday with the next topic on EC2. Until then, take care. Bye-bye. Have a nice day and have a nice weekend. See you on Monday. Bye-bye.